Chapter 5. How to Remain Poor. Never plan how to spend your money. Whenever you get money, start spending it right away, and when it is over, try to recall how you spent it. Tracking finances. The path to financial freedom is not easy, but determined people survive the journey. In Maasai land, becoming a warrior is not an easy task. One has to go to the wilderness and stay there for days after circumcision, looking for a lion to kill. The process is not easy, but the price of becoming a warrior is worth the trouble. The same principle applies to financial freedom. The process is difficult, but the result will be worth your while. I once watched a documentary about the Maasai community warriors. In this documentary, there were two warriors in the bush. They had not hunted on this particular day, but had watched a herd of lions hunt. As the lions were enjoying their meal, the warriors stood at once from their hiding place and charged. They walked fearlessly towards the lions. To my surprise, these kings of the jungle actually gave way to these two Maasai warriors. The warriors went ahead and cut a large piece of the lion's kill and left with it as the lions stood aside and watched. This was a very bold move for the warriors. They knew this was a huge risk, but did not let fear hinder them. Instead, they chose courage as their driving force. As you begin this journey towards financial freedom, choose courage as your driving force. Living within your budget is a ticket towards financial freedom. Begin by cultivating self-awareness. Examine yourself. Consider how much you earn versus how much you spend. Upon identifying how much you earn and how much you spend, work on a budget that fits your current lifestyle. In order to determine how much you spend, you have to monitor and evaluate your expenses on a daily basis. I call this process tracking your finances. As much as the process may seem tedious and weary, it will be quite eye-opening in regards to your spending habits. When I learned how to track my finances, I was excited about it. I was always equipped with a pen and paper. The first week was easy. The excitement was overwhelming. The second week was filled with procrastination, but I managed to note down my expenses. With time, it became cumbersome, so I decided I will be recording expenses on my smartphone and reconciling them in the evening. It still required a lot of discipline. I did it for a month and a few days, then got lazy. 6 months down the line, I could not determine how I spent the money I had. 1 minute I had money, the next I did not. I could not clearly trace my expenditure. I had absolutely no accountability for my expenditure. I had to act fast. It was time to make a decision to stick to it. I decided to track my expenses for a month to find out how exactly I was spending my money. No matter how tedious the process was, I persisted and fought the urge to slack off. I wrote down all expenditure, including but not limited to tithing and offering, airtime, and chewing gum, among others. At the end of the month, to my surprise, I had spent more than what I had earned. As much as I could not undo that, I understood how I was spending my money. Additionally, I got a few pointers on what I could avoid in order to have more savings. Cutting costs is key to financial freedom. This does not imply you become stingy, or even though some of your colleagues and friends will still think you are. It is part of the journey towards financial freedom. In actual sense, you are not being stingy, rather you are acknowledging the value of money. Knowing the value of money will automatically lead to reduced extravagance. This does not mean that you will not give money away at all. Giving to some extent is essential for any human being. This is the kind of giving that accrues God's blessing. A hand that gives is one that receives. This kind of giving includes tithing, offerings, and first fruits in addition to giving to charity. Giving should also be done wisely. Apart from spiritual giving, there is giving that is brought about by your needs and wants. Wants are the things that you cannot do without. Needs are those things that you have to have in order to survive. Make an effort to distinguish between the two. Apart from knowing your spending habits, understand your needs and wants. Needs have to be satisfied, but wants can be postponed. What are some of your wants? What are some of your needs? List them down for better perspective. Some wants can be postponed. Listing them gives you an opportunity to cut down on some that are luxuries. Needs, on the other hand, have to be fulfilled. Once you have tracked your expenses, you can begin budgeting. Be fully aware of your spending, that is, knowing your spending habits. Some of the pointers in this chapter are: have a notebook always, keep receipts and examine your finances. Note that there is nothing wrong with spending money, but be cautious on what you spend it on. I was talking to a friend about salvation. He started the conversation on a rather strong point. I am passionately saved, he said. This caught my attention. Passionately saved, you say? I asked casually. He went further to explain himself. To cut the long story short, what really caught my attention was his passion towards salvation. Anything you do, deal with it according to its weight, he said. To him, salvation had a lot of weight. What carries a lot of weight to you? Rather, what weight does financial freedom carry for you? As you journey on towards financial freedom, have a passion for it and accord it the weight it deserves.